What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about the Poughkeepsie Tapes. Okay, so I've heard a lot of things about this movie. I've heard that it's supposed to be extremely disturbing, and I've always brushed that off. I'm like, I've seen a lot of disturbing movies. I've seen a lot of, gory horror movies. I'm like, this can't be that bad. Yeah, I was completely wrong about that. This movie was incredibly disturbing. Um, it's it's like a pseudo documentary, like a fake documentary. It's like a true crime movie. I mean, not actually, it's not true crime because it's not like a real serial killer, but it's kind of like that. It's like hyper realistic. It's like a hyper realistic movie about a serial killer, and it's it gets so detailed about all the just disgusting stuff this guy does. I mean, he does, like, not only does he kill people, he does all kinds of crazy stuff. I don't even want to get into it too much on YouTube, but yeah, I definitely underestimated just how messed up this movie was. This movie was messed up, but at the same time, it was super well done. The story was super engaging, super entertaining. Like the killer, he was really good at kind of he would like lead cops. Like he would like send them like little clues, and he would like have them find the bodies, and he eventually had them find the tapes. But he would always get away. He would never reveal his identity, and then like he was just like really like cunning, really smart. I'm not trying to give the killer props, but like realistically, like he knew what he was doing, and it made for like just a really engaging story. So I thought I thought the story was really interesting. It kept me on my toes. There was all these twists and turns, and there was a good mystery. Like you're always trying to find out like who's the killer. When are they gonna catch him? They're like he intentionally gives them little cute like clues because it's like satisfying for him to kind of lead them on and give them a little bit. Like he'll have them find a body, or he'll have them like find a house that he was at. So yeah, the story like really kept me on my toes. Like even though this movie was disturbing, I was entertained throughout. And the thing is, like another reason why I thought it was well done is because it was so realistic. Like I feel like if you didn't know that this was a movie and it was fictional, like the documentary aspect and all the found footage stuff of like the snuff films that the killer made, like everything is so realistic. Like I would not be surprised if people actually thought this was real. It seemed really real. Like even towards the end, like I knew that it was not real, but I was like, man, this seems like pretty real. Like the way they ended the documentary, it was like too real. This thing made me itchy, man. Like afterward, I was like, oh my goodness, like I need a shower. I need to watch like some cartoon, something. Like I need to watch like a Disney movie after this, like cleanse the palate, because this thing, oh my goodness, it was disturbing. Yep. Now I'm just gonna, now that I gave you all just my overall thoughts, I thought this was messed up but entertaining. Well done. I'm gonna give you all just some random thoughts. So the killer wears this masquerade mask, and it's actually pretty creepy. You all have probably seen it. It's like the masquerade mask with the long nose. And one thing that was like tripping me up was there was this one segment where they were talking about the masks, and they were saying that it was a plague doctor mask, which it clearly wasn't. Like it's similar. I can see the comparison with like the long beak type nose, but I mean it's a totally different mask. Like it wasn't a plague doctor mask. It was a masquerade mask. So I'm like y'all are tripping. Like I mean you don't even know what masks you're talking about in your fake documentary. I mean come on. I mean, what a plot hole. The entire story is ruined. No, I'm just Drake and Josh and you. So yeah, I mean, this is I'm just going through like random thoughts I had, you know. So that was just something I was thinking. This is getting into spoiler territory here, so if if you're not trying to have this spoiled, you know, tune out at this point. So there's this, like, midway through the story, there was this guy who gets caught and he gets sentenced to death, and like right when that guy got caught, it was like, in my mind, so predictable. I'm like, this is not the guy, because they did it like I knew there was like, I don't know how much movie was left, but I'm like, there's still like at least like probably half an hour of the movie left. I'm like, this is definitely not the guy. But the way that they executed that was actually pretty good, because it was like, the guy did get executed, and then he got, like, after the fact they realized it wasn't him, and he got exonerated of all charges. But like the events that the events in the movie took place, like that instance took place in 2001, and it was like right after 9/11, so like nobody paid attention that the that it wasn't the real killer, so everyone still like thought that the killer was caught. So I thought that was like pretty clever, that they kind of put in some, you know, real world stuff into this fictional movie. It made it feel like a little bit more real, and it like made sense like why everyone just kind of forgot about the killer and went you know, on with their lives. Um, yeah, and then I kind of talked about this earlier with like all the mystery elements and the twists and just this story keeping you on your toes. The killer always keeps always keeps the cops off his trail. He doesn't get caught the entire movie, but he, like I said, he gives them little pieces. Like there's this one instance where there's like he's like at a gas station, and there's like a security camera, and he's like covering his face. He never shows his face. He's either like covering his face or he's wearing a mask, and he does like sign language to give them a hint to this house, you know. And then, you know, he like wants him to find the bodies, and then eventually, like, because the documentary doesn't, it doesn't it kind of like moves out of order, you know. It's not like chronological, so like they have the tapes at the beginning, but you don't see them actually, like the point to where they get the tapes, until like way later in the movie. But the killer like wanted, he like planned that for them to find the tapes, and he planned for them to find this victim that he held hostage for like years. Her name was Cheryl Dempsey, and they found her in like a coffin, and she was just like, she was just gone. Like, I mean, like beyond PTSD, just like, I mean, she was like a shell of a human. That was like one of the most disturbing parts. Was, so like later in the story they interviewed her, and I mean, I give credit to this actress, because I mean, that was, I wrote down, there was like, that was one of the most disturbing moments, and then there was this other disturbing moment. So, but let me get into the Cheryl Dempsey interview first. Like, she can like barely even talk, and they keep like asking her questions, and she's like, I don't know what you want me to say. Like, she can barely even speak. And then she's so like messed up that like her whole life was like based on pain for so long, because she was being tortured. Like, she doesn't recover in the hospital because she's like torturing herself, because that's like the only way she knows how to exist now. And then basically, she like she doesn't hate the killer, she like loves him now. Like, they like, because I don't know, she like became like dependent on him, and it was this whole thing, and she like professes her love to him. And then you like see her like lift her arm, her like hands missing. That scene like was, that just disturbed me so much. It was just like too real. The actress did a great job. That was just, like seeing the aftermath, seeing her just like her whole personality was destroyed. She was not the same, never gonna be the same again, never gonna be normal. Like that really hit me hard. That was messed up. And the other messed up stuff, I barely even want to talk about this because I didn't even expect this. You know, like from the trailer, I just thought this was gonna be like kind of like a found footage horror movie about a killer, but yeah, there was some stuff like involving, you know, like he like early on. This was early on in the movie. He like actually like was like hurting kids. You know, like actually he was like he like killed a kid. They didn't show it, luckily, but it was like a cutaway kill. I mean, and then he like lures some uh, girls selling Girl Scout cookies into his house. Like that stuff was just extremely messed up. So those two scenes of the movie were like too much, and the scene with the girl, like the little girl or whatever, the 8-year-old, that was like early on in the movie, and then like right, like I'm like, okay, like this, because I like I said, I've heard that this movie is disturbing. I think, what is the channel called? I think the channel's called like Spooky Rice. I could be wrong, but he does like videos. He's done videos on like a lot of like Harmony Korine movies, like Kids and Gummo, and he does like the disturbing breakdown. I think I got the channel name right, but I think he had a video about this. I never watched the video, but I saw that he had it. So, you know, I always knew in the back of my mind that this was supposed to be a disturbing movie, and I'm a horror fan, so this looked like, you know, something creepy. I saw the trailer and it looked enticing, but yeah, I had no idea how disturbing this was, and that's the thing. I don't know if I would recommend this. Like I said, I think it's well done. It's super realistic, and like the mystery definitely kept me entertained throughout. But I don't know if I could recommend it. I feel like a lot of people would just totally be turned off by this. I mean, I was like pretty disgusted while I was watching it. But I mean, I watch a lot of horror movies and stuff, so I'm kind of not like desensitized, but it's like I've seen this stuff. Like I know it's just a movie, so it's like whatever. Um, but yeah, I'm usually not like I didn't know this was gonna be such like a true crime type thing. Even though it's not true crime, there's like a fictional killer, but it's that type of movie. I'm usually not into stuff like that. Like I like fictional horror movies. Like I like all the big slasher franchises, like all the 80s slasher franchises. But to me, those are, I mean, it's like fiction. Like it's not real. I mean, of course, like Freddy Krueger is not like a real guy. Like there's more fantasy elements. Like even like the Friday the 13th movies. Like when Jason turns into a zombie. Like they're more fun. They're more like fantastical. Like I'm usually not drawn to this like super realistic stuff because, I mean, it is disturbing. But I mean, some people nowadays are really into that. Like I think Netflix does a lot of that type of stuff. So I mean, if you're into that, I'm not hating. I just personally don't like that type of stuff usually, but I mean a lot of people are, so if you're into that, you'll definitely like this movie. But there's just a couple more things I want to talk about, and then I'm gonna wrap things up here. So yeah, this is pretty much the last thing that I want to talk about. It's like two last points here. So I was reading on the Wikipedia page that this movie had trouble getting released, and I think I was like reading it before, and I'm like, I wonder why. And then I watched this movie, and it's like, yeah, I definitely understand why this didn't get a theatrical release, and it was so hard to get a DVD release and everything like that. Because I mean, I feel like it's hard to market a movie like this because it's like so disturbing. Only like you gotta be like hardcore into like horror to enjoy something like this, or hardcore into the true crime stuff. Like this is not for the faint of heart, like I don't that's the thing too, I don't know how this is rated R and not NC-17. Like, how did this get an R rating? Because when I look it up on Google, it says it's rated R, which there's like a million movies that are, you know, way more tame than this, that have R ratings, you know, that, well, that actually doesn't even do anything to prove my point, but I mean, there's even some NC-17 movies that aren't as crazy as this, you know, like, I don't, like, Kids, like the 1995 movie Kids, that's NC-17, and that, I feel like that's less disturbing than this, honestly. This is worse. Like, not worse as a movie, I like both movies, but I feel like this is, you know, a lot more disturbing than that, and that has an NC-17 rating. This has an R, but eventually, I guess this did come out on DVD and Blu-ray, so that's cool, because you can tell the filmmakers, you know, tried pretty hard, the actors gave good performances, so, you know, that's unfortunate that, you know, all these companies, they put their time and money into this, and, I mean, they probably, if it didn't get a proper release, they most definitely lost money, so that's unfortunate, because you can tell there's like a lot of effort put into this, but, you know, it's cool that it eventually did get a proper release. But yeah, like I said, this movie is not for the faint of heart. I would recommend it because I think the story is good. It's well done. The movie's very realistic. It's definitely scary, definitely disturbing. If you're into true crime, if you're a hardcore horror fan, check it out. But, you know, if you're not into stuff that's gonna be a little bit disturbing, I mean, this is a lot of bit disturbing, you know. So, just if you're not trying to see anything like I described in this review, then don't check it out. But I think it's a good movie, so, you know, there's my 2 cents. But anyways, I'm gonna wrap things up here. So, thank you all for watching, and peace out.